Hello world, hello YouTube, hello everybody. This is Prepper Princess. This is going to be a quick video about things that people often forget about during an SHTF. So, of course, I'm going to not have all of the answers or all of the scenarios on this video because, you know, everything is going to be different for different people. But some of the things that people forget are ways to repair things that you already have. For instance, needle and thread to repair your clothing, shoe glue, and replacement laces to fix your shoes. If you think about it and all of the manufacturing is gone, there's not going to be any way to obtain that stuff after a collapse. So it's something that you might want to stock up on right now. Also, eventually we're going to run out of gasoline in an SHTF. The stations aren't going to be open. You're not going to be able to pump gas. You're not going to be able to open up the container and get your own gas. It's just not going to happen. So a lot of people are probably going to be transitioning into bicycles. And, I think that that's great. And I think it's a great thing to do right now if you're able to, physically fit enough and things like that. But people don't take into consideration the tools and things that you'll need to repair a bicycle. For instance, replacement inner tubes, replacement patches for inner tubes, and the tools required in order to get the wheel off to repair it. Also nuts and bolts that you'll need to repair the bike, because if you think about it, that's your main form of transportation. Right now you go over to an auto mechanic and you have your auto repaired. There's not going to be really any bicycle mechanics, so you're going to be pretty much on your own. Another thing is ways to transport goods or services, such as a bicycle trailer. I'm in the process of saving up for a bicycle trailer right now, but that's not something that people think about. Also, I'm going to make a video about jobs that I think that people could do during an economic collapse. Not necessarily to make money, but, it's sort of like a work for food type thing, and I'll make another video on that. Another thing is, right now we live in a climate-controlled area, a climate-controlled environment. All of us have heating and air conditioning. We even have, programmable thermostats to keep it at exactly the right temperature, 70 degrees, and that's not going to be available after a collapse. Keeping warm and keeping yourself from obtaining hypothermia just by having firewood around is something that people don't often consider. And another thing that to consider is eventually you're going to run out of gasoline, so you're going to have no way of powering your chainsaw. So you're going to have to get a good old-fashioned chainsaw and do some, what's it called in the Army, scouting, for the right type of firewood in order to burn to heat your home to keep yourself alive. I think that a lot of people are going to be doing a lot of mass migration into areas that are more climate controlled. For instance, I live in, middle California, which is already fairly climate controlled as it is. I don't really use a heater or air conditioner. Even in, the hottest days of the year, my house stays relatively normal at about 85 degrees when it's been 105 outside for 3-4 days at a time. Same with rain. I've got the shelter that I need, and it's not particularly cold. Today it's raining, and I don't have a heater on. But if worst comes to worst, you're going to need firewood in order to keep yourself alive. I would highly recommend, it's not something that's economically feasible for me at this time, but I would highly recommend a wood-burning stove, especially if you live, in the Midwest or the East Coast where it gets particularly cold and there's snow on the ground. You're going to need a way to cook your food too. And a wood-burning stove has a dual purpose. It heats your entire home through convection heat, and it also allows you the opportunity to cook your food on the top of the wood-burning stove. That's a dual-purpose thing. I think it's really important. I would love to have one, considering maybe getting a camping stove as a backup, but I wouldn't have anywhere to put the camping stove in. And, there's a lot of different things that people don't think about, just the needle and threads to repair your clothes, because you're not going to be able to get new clothes. You might be able to trade with friends, but more than likely you're going to also be shrinking out of the clothes that you currently have, and you're just going to have to repair what you've got using patches and extra, rags you've got sitting around the house. I would also recommend, if you do have extra clothes, just put them up in your in the back end of your closet. You might need that fabric in the future to repair the clothes that you already have. Then you've got the bicycle trailers, you need to repair those. Another thing that people think about is water. You know, I've got the water containment system behind me. I've also got a rain barrel. I have one rain barrel that holds 55 gallons. In order for me to make it through the summer, just watering my fruit trees, not including any vegetables or gardening things that, you know, other stuff like tomatoes, leafy vegetables, greens, onions, stuff like that, I would not have enough water to sustain a garden. And a lot of people think that if they have these, you know, 55-gallon storage drums of water, they're A-okay as long as they've got seeds. But the truth of the matter is that you're going to need water to water those seeds. And unless you have access to a stream, pond, river, anywhere where you can get water to water your fruits and vegetables, or you have a well, if you don't have access to that, you're out of luck. You're going to starve to death. Hopefully, if there is a collapse, you know, I'm a positive thinker, and I would hope that society would rebuild itself and people would be working together, but you know, we don't know what's going to happen. So it may be possible that they're not going to be trucking in water. You're not going to be able to, you know, get water in your area. And if that's the case, that's where you need to bug out. The place that I live has a 400-foot water table, and the minimum cost of drilling a well, you know, down that far, 400 feet, is $10,000. That's not an economically feasible option for a lot of people, and it's not feasible for me either. So I do what I can with what I have, and I know that it's not going to last forever, and I have other, you know, backup options on top of backup options, but you guys really want to consider the water scenario and the gardening seeds. It may not do you any good if there's no water in your area and you can't grow your own food. Another thing that people often forget is entertainment after a collapse. Right now we are in a society that is technology based, and I believe technology addicted. People are multitasking on a regular basis. They're watching TV, they're playing on their iPad, they're making videos on their iPhone, and you know, socially people don't even talk to each other anymore. They just text each other. Whenever you go to a restaurant with a friend, there's always that friend who's on their phone doing whatever, playing Angry Birds, or, you know, texting a million different people, because they, you know, it's getting to the point where people aren't even able to socially speak with each other without having something else to do. So keeping yourself entertained after a collapse, once you no longer have that technology available, is really important. Games are a big thing, and books are going to be a big thing. I have a, what is that thing called? A foosball table, which doesn't require any electricity. You just need the little ping pong ball or whatever it's called, and that provides hours upon hours of entertainment. Literally, you don't want to stop. Once the sun goes down, that's when the games are going to have to be pulled out, because you're going to be more than likely working for your life in the daylight, because there's not going to be any ambient light available after nighttime. Also, lots of boards games, you know, Battleship, sorry, all the classics. Battleship, sorry, Scrabble, Yahtzee, you know, just Scattergories. You can even get one of those boards where you write ink and you guys can play that game, like, you know, 2 words, first words, 8 syllables, whatever it is. Pictionary, I think it is. Hangman, tic-tac-toe. You can even build your own beanbag toss game, which is something that I'm going to do once I find the wood to do that. But it's something that you guys want to keep in mind, is that, you know, it's going to be great for morale in order to have games available after, you know, a collapse, because people are going to be, hopefully families will be gathering together, but again, we're losing that social thing that we have where we can talk to each other. So you have to keep yourself busy in order to not go completely crazy. So right now, that's it for now. Oh, also, sorry, not that's it for now. One other thing, balls, like basketballs, footballs, volleyballs, soccer balls, hockey pucks and rollerblades. That's something that you might want to keep on hand too. I'm sorry, I keep looking over there because they're right over there. But that's something that you might want to keep on hand too, because it's just a one cost, and get yourself a pump and a needle. It's just a one cost item. A lot of people throw them away too, and it'll cost you one time, and you can reuse that ball, you know, for the rest of your life. So something to keep in mind. So that's the things that I think that people forget about during an economic collapse. Do what you can with what you've got. Prepper Princess out.